everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, February 16th, 2025. I have to say, Friday's Valentine's Day episode, Dream Extravaganza, was so much fun. That was definitely one of the best Valentine's episodes we've ever had, I think, in my opinion. I just really enjoyed it. I think it was really fun to be able to just step outside of the regular story for a little bit and just let fantasy take over the fantasy. So good. It was like a break. I mean, it was like whole week was like a vacation. In more than one way. But what I really especially liked about the Friday Valentine's Day episode was that, okay, for the first half of the episode, I was really sure who was dreaming. It all made complete sense to me. But then toward the end, not gonna lie, I really started questioning it. So there was this element of suspense, and I realized while I was watching it that I was squirming around. I was glued to my screen. I was afraid to look away because I was so anxious to find out who the three dreamers were gonna be, or if there was gonna be some kind of way it was four dreamers, and I don't know. But I was hooked. I wanted to know what was gonna happen. The Sharon dream was definitely obvious. It was obviously Sharon's dream. But when Sally walked through the door at the ranch after Adam and Chelsea had their dream reconciliation, I honestly was not so sure that she wasn't the one that was dreaming. I thought, well, maybe this whole thing was Sally's dream and she is still having all of this regret over what happened with Adam. And then likewise, when Phyllis showed up in Paris at the door of the apartment, I thought immediately, okay, well, for sure Phyllis is dreaming. This is definitely Phyllis's dream. But then later in the second half of the episode, as Billy was starting to talk about revenge on Victor, I thought, well, maybe this could be Billy's dream, which in the end was a little bit of a letdown because it wasn't. I was actually having my fingers crossed that it was Billy's dream at that point. I wanted to find out that Billy was actually secretly lusting after Phyllis, because, I mean, who could resist Phyllis in that red rose dress? Oh my gosh! That dress was amazing! Last week she had that gorgeous horizontal black and white striped dress, and then this week she had this, and it was just so perfect for Valentine's Day, and she looked so beautiful with the red and the white and the big red oversized satin box of chocolates sitting next to her as she was picking through them, which is a whole lot of fun. Like, I'm sorry, I am never bored by Phyllis. She steals the scene every time. I was wholly entertained. It had everything. That was definitely my favorite of the three dream sequences. I think it would be a fun poll question for this week, though, to find out who you guys thought had the best Valentine's Day moment of the year. Were you all in for the Adam and Chelsea reunion with Sally coming in at the end? Did you like the Nick and Sharon one best, or were you really feeling Billy and Phyllis? Which of the three dreams did you like best? Go to yrchat.com to cast your vote. I just thought, like I said, I really liked Billy and Phyllis, and I thought it was just really wonderful that we got to have this Paris vacation out of nowhere. And it was really smart of Y&R to use Ashley's apartment to do it. I mean, hey, we've got this Parisian apartment set. Why not use it? I could be deluding myself, but I really feel like Y&R has heard us say that we love our sets, and they're responding by giving us sets. I'm sure it has nothing to do with Y&R Chat, but maybe it's just maybe the sentiment is just bubbling around. We like the classic sets. It feels true. It feels true. I would so much rather just spend time in the set than a green screen. I was really secretly glad there was no green screen, because that's exactly what I was expecting. I actually thought it was way more clever that Billy and Sally left the apartment for their romantic night on the town. Of course, you're in Paris, you're going to want to see the town. But then a rainstorm. And they had to come back inside, and they were all just soaking wet. And romance. See, I just think that is so clever and so much better. I understand we can't afford to take the show to Paris, so the apartment and the rainstorm were really good alternatives. And really, what's more romantic than Paris in a rainstorm? I mean, whoever came up with that really elevated it. It was perfect. But now, even though Billy and Sally were very, very romantic, the whole time I was wishing Phyllis was going to show up knocking at that door. The whole time. I am ready for Phyllis to come and bust up that party permanently. And it's going to happen. Of course it's going to happen. I really don't even know why it was such a shock to Phyllis that that she would be waking up dreaming about Billy. When she woke up at the very end of that episode, she looked so shock-faced, like, oh my God, why was I thinking of Billy? Well, I mean, the entire time Billy and Sally were in Paris, all Phyllis was thinking about was Billy, and all she could talk about was Billy, and every single conversation that she had was about Billy. Phyllis, this was really funny. She commented that Sally is just all over him like a fungus. And I really liked that line. I really liked that moment, and it showed her hand. Phyllis is jealous. Phyllis is jealous. And we all know what happens when Phyllis gets jealous. So I'm sorry, Sally, you might wanna look out every time you crawl into your bed and just scan it beforehand to make sure there ain't no octopuses in there. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Nick and Daniel were the conversations that Phyllis had while Billy was away, and like the whole conversation was just Daniel or Nick throwing out reasons why Phyllis needs to be wary of getting into bed with Billy, figuratively, of course. Only Daniel did dare to say, I hope you're not thinking about hooking up with him again. It's really not too big of a leap to think that he would think that and say that. I mean, Phyllis could not leave it alone. She was calling Billy frantically. She left like 5 different voice messages while he's trying to have this romantic vacation. She was trying to break up the romance. She was trying to pull him back to the thing that they share in common. And he finally did call her back. And all she really had to tell him was, yeah, Daniel agreed to come work with us. And gee, I'm so glad that you're not planning revenge against the Newmans anymore. Cut to Billy making a secret phone call, hopping up out of bed after sex with Sally to make a secret phone call, asking someone to tell him what's been going on at Chancellor since he left. Blah, 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 blah. Pass. As soon as I saw him, as soon as the words escaped his lips, I was thinking, this again? He still wants revenge against Victor? I I really thought what he wanted now was revenge against Adam, and now it seems like he wants it on Victor again. And I mean, actually, it's probably both. But he's got this new media company, and I mean, of course, he's going to use it to publish gossip about the Newmans. I mean, I'm sure that's what the phone call was all about, and it's just so unoriginal. We've been here, we've done this. He did say in the dream, in Phyllis's dream, that he is not going to sacrifice the company's stability in order to go after Victor, but he wants to do it nonetheless. And Phyllis was all in on it. Maybe that's the part of the dream that she was more shocked about. Maybe it wasn't as shocking that she was interested in the relationship with Billy. Maybe when she woke up shocked, she was just thinking, why do I still care about revenge on Victor? I don't know. But apparently it's her dream and she was into it. She was feeling it. She was kind of seeming like she might get off on the idea. Like, her and Billy's interests are completely aligned, and I don't think Sally's going to feel the same way. I think that Sally might actually decide to hightail it away from Billy when she finds out that he is not necessarily moving in the positive direction that he is telling everyone that he's headed in. And maybe Sally will just go right back to Adam. And maybe Sally will find out that she's too late, that she has lost him, just like in Adam's dream. Maybe Adam's dream is foreshadowing. But I will tell you what would be a better twist. Phyllis doesn't like Sally dating Billy. Phyllis thinks that Sally is a fungus. Well, I say, let Sally walk away from Billy. Let Phyllis think for a moment that she's won, and then let Phyllis find out that Sally is now dating her son, Daniel. Sally and Daniel are the couple that needs to be developed and put into, yeah. I mean, Sally and Adam, sorry, it didn't work out. It really just did not work out, and I was all in for it at the initial, but then, man, it really fizzled, and they just haven't been able to pick it up. I'm so tired of the repeat in a way, and I just think that I would love to see Sally having something fresh. I'm into Sally, and so I kind of want her to have something fresh and new, and I feel like Daniel's it, and they're both so funky, and they're both sort of they have alternative styles, and they just seem like they would be a good match. And it feels destined that Adam and Chelsea are going to get back together. I don't think that, I mean, I really feel that Adam's dream, what it represented was the fact that he is ready to move on from Sally, because in the dream, he kind of had a choice. Sally asked him, is it too late? Are you back together with Chelsea? And, he could have said, no, I choose you. But he didn't. He gave Sally a goodbye. And I think that is signaling the end of that relationship. I mean, and it's sad, but it's been sad for like the past year. The sadness isn't new. Adam and Chelsea are poised plot-wise to be moving forward together anew. But honestly, I felt really relieved, even though I'm not excited about Adam and Chelsea reunion necessarily. I really did feel relieved during the dream that even just for an episode, we were not playing the whole, oh, we're living together, but we're not together game. Because I think that is getting really old. I mean, Chelsea has said that every single time she interacts with anyone. And it may be true. I think she's telling the truth, but it just feels like we're being hit over the head with it. Especially when we know that the likelihood is that Adam and Chelsea are going to fall back in love probably by the time the tulips have sprung in Genoa City. It's not going to be too much longer. I mean, the chips speak for themselves. Jalapeno, lime, tortilla. The tortilla part was what threw me off. And also the fact that there was no chips in that bag. I mean, that's as real as anything. The fact that Adam opened up the bag of chips and there was none in there. I would say reality has been nailed. Oh. But, you know, the Adam and Chelsea part was good. They have a lot of history together. It's true. They have been through a lot together, and I enjoyed the journey of talking back through what happened between them when Connor was sick. You know, and it felt like for the first time in the dream, Chelsea was acknowledging that there was something more going on there than just desperation over what had happened with Connor. They have a lot of history, but and maybe it's time to move forward on it, but you know, at the same time, you know who else has a whole lot of history? Adam and Sharon. Sharon. Let's talk about Sharon. Sharon is weird right now. I don't know. Did the PCP permanently zap her brain or something? Because she just not even talking like herself. She seems like she's had some kind of a lobotomy. All of her responses are very hollow. She seems like a walking zombie. And then she went down to the ranch this week to give Adam and Chelsea a housewarming gift. A quilt. Okay, it gets pretty cold out there at the ranch at night. And Sharon didn't know, though, if she should make one blanket or two. Could you believe she freaking said that? I didn't know if I should make one blanket or two. Give me a break. She was probably up all night making the first quilt maniacally. Like, can't you just see it? It's the middle of the night and Sharon's sitting there sewing the quilt. Eyes wide, ponytail high, just sewing and snipping and snipping and sewing. And Cameron Kirsten stopped by to hand her the needle. That scene at the ranch with Adam and Sharon and Chelsea, it just really reminded me of when Adam and Chelsea were living in that big old spooky mansion and Adam was hiding Sharon in the guest house after she burned down the ranch. I think the ranch fire, Y&R Chat, is just still fresh in my brain, but it reminds me that there's a history of a triangle there too. But yeah, the scene with Sharon and Chelsea and Adam was just so awkward, and not just because of Sharon, and not just because of the fact that Chelsea continues to insist ad nauseum that she and Adam are not a couple, but then it was also because Sharon went on this side note rant about how much Nick has helped her and how great he is, and it was over the top. It was way too much information. She really should have just stopped by, left the quilt, and went on her way. It did not require a full-on update about her feelings about Nick. I thought it was interesting later in the week, the scene with Summer. Summer showed up at the coffee house, and of course, Sharon had to be overly apologetic about everything that happened with Daniel. I mean, yeah, I know. Yes, I want her to apologize. I don't want her to feel like she did absolutely nothing wrong. She still made some decisions in there. But just the way she talks, the way she explains herself, it's like she's had a lobotomy, and she's just parroting the same lines over and over again. It doesn't even feel like genuine remorse. And Summer had absolutely no problem telling her opinion about what Sharon did. But then she was like, ooh, my muffin. Literally, Summer handed Sharon her butt. And then Sharon handed Summer her muffin and a coffee. It's so weird. It's such a weird dynamic. And I'm sure that no one's going to want to forgive Sharon, and Nick's going to continue to go to bat for her. And in some ways, even though that's true, I still feel like Nick and like Sharon's dream on the Valentine's Day episode in some ways feels like it's the farthest away. It feels further fetched than the other two even, because Nick and Sharon have been revolving around each other for almost like sort of tangentially romantic for like the last year now. It just feels like they've been circling and nothing's been happening for the past year. And it's really no secret what Sharon wants, but I feel like I have no sense of what Nick wants. And frankly, I'm sort of losing the sense of Nick's character at all. I mean, Nick has no real storyline right now. All he does is come in and support and reassure the other characters, which is great and fine. It's needed. It's absolutely needed. But I think Nick needs something else to do. And maybe Sharon is it. Summer and Kyle and Harrison making a diorama of the Abbott dining room. I thought that was a really well done sequence. I was charmed by it. Because first of all, Harrison's assignment was to pick something to represent that was from his everyday life. And I think it's really cute that he didn't choose his bedroom where all of his toys are. He picked the most quintessential thing about the place where he lives, that dining room. You know? And I mean, that dining room is famous. And frankly, I think it deserves to be represented in diorama form. What are they going to do with that diorama now that it's out of the scene? I think that maybe it should go on the mantle. Maybe Diane should include it in the remodel. Yeah, I ate it up. I bought it completely. I loved watching the family cut it and glue all their little pieces of paper. I thought that was a really fun sequence. And then placing the little tiny dining room chairs around there and all of the cutouts that represented the family. And Kyle said, "Why is Grandpa's head so much bigger than everyone else's?" And that was such a funny moment because I almost got the feeling it was just like an observation that was made on the spot and included in the scene. And I thought it was really funny, and I thought the whole sequence was a lot of fun, and I appreciated it. And based on those scenes, I would say it's probably a pretty done deal that Kyle and Summer are going to get back together eventually, especially since it's Victor's will. And Victor's will be done. Claire tried getting Victor to just have a dinner with Kyle. I'll just show him what a great guy Kyle is, and then all the animosity between the Abbotts and the Newmans will just melt away. Yeah, no, not at all. It was interesting observation. Victor was discussing the situation with Nick, and Nick had this great point of view where he said, okay, why is it that you think that Kyle's good enough for Summer, but he's not good enough for Claire? And I thought that was a great question, and Victor had this great response, and it showed really where his thought process is, because he said, well, Claire is a naive young girl. And this is her first time in love. And I don't want her falling for the wrong guy. Well, you know, it's hard to argue that Claire is a naive young girl when she just, you know, totally successfully drove Jordan to her death, planned the whole thing. And then prior to that, also tried to kill the Newman family. But I think he's correct, and he's making a good point that in love, when it comes to love, Claire is naive. This is her first relationship. And the fact of the matter is, she's chosen a relationship with a guy who has a child with someone else. And like Chelsea and Adam, maybe Summer and Kyle are destined to get back together and raise their son. I mean, it seemed like they were having a good time, and I fear for where that is going to leave sweet baby girl Claire. I think it's going to leave her out in the cold. Ultimately, I really do. I don't think Victor's going to stop. I don't think he's going to be stopped. I think he's going to pull out any stop that is necessary to make it happen. Victoria recounted the story this week to Claire of how Victor had her arrested on her wedding day, just to let Claire know how serious Victor can be when he's trying to ruin your life. And that was the arresting of Victoria on her wedding day to Billy was such a totally classic moment. Dang, it's just too bad we couldn't have gotten any flashbacks of that. And I know it was a different actor. Billy Miller rips. He was great in that role, and that was such a great moment, and I really wish we could have maybe had some flashbacks. Maybe I'll have to go back on YouTube and watch that again, because it really, like, Claire needs to be schooled. I mean, even if, I wish there could have just been some kind of creative cutting to show only Victoria getting the cuffs put on or something, just to remind the audience about how completely dramatic that moment it was, and how extreme Victor is willing to be. Mother's dying of leukemia. Found out father wasn't biological father. Got a brother now that he never knew he had. Totes ready to get out of Genoa City and just forget all about this. But Damian still makes time to stop and check out the ladies. I loved that. His life just got all kinds of blown up, and he just had to do a double take when he saw Lily at the restaurant. Ooh, another Valentine's Day surprise. I feel like we got a box of Valentine's chocolates this week, and we just got to pick them up and take a bite and see what was inside of each one. It felt like a variety sampler of chocolates this week. Thank you, Y&R. Yeah, Lily and Damian ran into each other at Society, literally ran right into each other. And Lily goes, "It's fine, just watch where you're going next time." Which is so Lily. Like, a total accident happens. It's not really anybody's fault. But she gets thrust into this hot new guy, and she has the nerve to scold him. Is that not Lily Winters in a nutshell right there? Who else has the nerve to be like, watch where you're going next time, hot guy? Not gonna lie, until that very moment, I was formulating a theory that Damian and Holden were lovers. Because, like, the intimacy that was going on between them at the coffee house, it was a lot. I mean, like, they were, very intimately discussing Damian's life problem, and it didn't seem like two colleagues talking about it. I mean, Holden's all like, "Your mother loves you." It was very they seemed close, and of course later Holden said that he and Damian are best friends, which contextualizes it a little bit more. But honestly, I was like, what else is in this box of chocolates waiting for us this week? It wasn't that. But I will tell you, I am all in on my new Damian candy. Oh man, this is so good. Anybody who can walk away from their mother after she tells him that she is dying, has only got a month to live, that is the kind of character that I need to know more about. It is about intrigue, and I want to know him. I mean, the actor, the writing, the whole mystery of Damian is just, boop, it's got me. I want to know more about him. The whole Damian thing has gone from me not even bothering to comment on it to it's my top story of the week and I want to find out more and I can't stop thinking about it. I had so questions. And at the top of the list is what happened to Damian and with his mother. Like, what happened between them specifically in the first place? Because I don't get why he's so bitter with her, and I don't feel like it's been established. Like, okay, they had some arguments after Jackson's death. They didn't get along. He was a rowdy teen. I mean, she had to discipline him, I guess. I don't know. But none of it seems like enough to want to have to walk out on your mother when you find out that she's dying. There's got to be something more going on there for him to so severely not want to have anything to do with her, even in her dying days. I mean, I can see him not wanting to have anything to do with Nate. Whatever. That's new information to him. Nate might as well be a stranger. That relationship has time to develop. They can figure out later whether or not they actually like each other. But Damian walked out on his mother knowing that she was dying. And he would have walked out sooner, except she was like, no, wait, there's one more thing I have to tell you. The father who you thought was your father your whole life is not your father. And if you really want to know who this guy is, he's your brother. No, I loved it. She said, your father's name was Nate Hastings. And then he goes, ding, 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 ding. You could see like the pinball thing like rattling around in his head, like, wait a minute, and then putting the pieces together on who Nate was. I mean, that just the whole dad's not my dad, this guy's my brother was just the icing on the hate cake for Damian, and it's a bitter cake. It's a real bitter cake. Only Lily can save him now. Only Lily can sweeten that cake. But it's not going to be right away, because Lily and Devon showed up this week, and we haven't seen them really comment on any of this, and they were immediately both very skeptical about the new fish that's in the fish bowl, right? We've lowered Damian down into the fish bowl, and now we got to see how the other fish interact with him. We still should keep him in a bag or something, though, so that he doesn't get devoured right away, but we have to try to adjust the other fish around him now. And I'm kind of thinking that maybe Damian and Lily will have kind of a love-hate thing going on that I'm sure that Devon is going to be happy to stoke. Devon's not going to like him. Devon is not going to like him, and he's not going to want Lily hanging out with him. Lily's going to, a little bit by little bit, try to present Damian's side, but Devon ain't going to have it. Well, speaking of love-hate, twistity twist, twist, twister twist, Audra definitely has a love-hate thing going on with Holden. Now, that was a fun surprise. That was a really good moment, and it turned me around on Holden almost instantly, because honestly, before, when he was Damian, I thought he was cute, but he was just very, one-dimensional. There wasn't anything else there to sink my teeth into. But then he got Audra alone this week and revealed that not only does he know her, but he feels that she owes him for some kind of jam that he got her out of with her boss, Tucker McCall. So, she owes him. And what, pray tell, will he want her to do to work off that debt? Because it seemed like there was some sexual chemistry going on there, even back when we still thought he was Damian. Yeah, the way he was looking at her was basically the same way Damian was looking at Lily. So, look out, Nate. Careful what you wish for, Nate. I mean, Nate, I think he had good intentions, but he honestly could have refused to get involved in any of this drama with Amy. He could have just taken the info and sat on it. He didn't have to become intimately involved, but he did. He actively pursued all of this. And then he drug it back home to Genoa City. He thought he was helping a dying woman. He thought he was building a bridge for his family. But maybe what he was really doing was opening a Pandora's box of chocolates. Guys, have I got a great quote for you this week. Let's see if you can guess who said this. Oh, I love this. As soon as I heard it, I knew it was it. Deception is the rule, not the exception. Don't that describe soaps right there? Deception is the rule, not the exception. If you want to know who said it, you should go to YRChat.com. Let's get to some comments, starting with, what's going on with Damian and Audra and all these new characters coming in and challenging our old characters. Well, Steven says, I think it's about time that Nay is seriously wondering who staked Damian with money for his start. I think my original thought is still correct. Damian's half-brother is in fact divine. I love that theory. Because something is going on there. How did Damian get his money? And then Holden mentioned Tucker. So even if it's not Damian, what if Holden is Tucker's son? I mean, that could be a possibility too. I definitely agree with you that there could potentially be a Tucker tie in here, which would be great, because if there is ever any chance that we could get Trevor St. John back, that would be amazing. But I'm loving the mystery. I wasn't into the mystery when it was Mount of County Misco, Mount of Conte Crisco. It was over my head. But I'm into it now. Sue W, though, says, sadly, I guess the whole Nate, Amy, Audra, Damian, fake Damian, whoever story is currently my least favorite. It just isn't all that interesting to me. Is there some incredible fallout ahead? Sigh. Really, Sue W? Even when Damian and Lily crossed paths on Friday? Really? Because I wonder if that might have, I think you posted that comment before that. I wonder if that changed your opinion at all, knowing that there might be some new twists, some new romances on the horizon. But yeah, I totally understand you, because I was there. I think the twists that have happened in the past week have really turned me around, though. Let's talk about Victor. Russell says, reading the posts brought something to mind this week. They said repeatedly that the bullet went all the way through Victor, but the whole family was standing right behind him. So where did the bullet go? Shouldn't it have hit whoever was behind Victor? It wouldn't just slowly pop out of his back and drop on the floor. Yeah, really. I mean, even if it didn't hit any of the people that were standing behind him, you would think it might have hit the chair, and I don't think the chair has changed. Where's the missing bullet? Good question. I think we need some forensics to figure that out. Well, Brent says, Jack, as Jack's quoting, as I told Victor, I'm glad he survived his shooting, though I have to admit it offered me a welcome opportunity to imagine a world without Victor in it. This is the new world record for the most insensitive comment ever. Even if he thought it, which I understand, why would he say it out loud? Brett, it was a great moment. It gave me a moment to imagine a world without Victor. It's so great, but I can believe that he would say it out loud to Diane, or to Billy, or to anyone in his family. But that he said it to Victoria was extremely insensitive. But speaking of being sensitive, Gary says, every time Victor winces in pain, I think it's so great. Finally, the soaps get real. Yeah, I know. He does a good job of, Eric Braeden does a good job of remembering where the sore spot is and then being sure to, I am just happy that the pain that he was feeling this week didn't seem to be dragging him down in the same way, making him depressed in the same way as it did last week. At least, especially based on the previews for next week, it seems like he's going to get right back to the business of rivalying with Jack, and that's just fine with me if the alternative is melancholy. Let's see. Connie says 2 days of some definite love-hate moments that make soaps interesting and fun. I love that Claire is challenging Victor to his face and that Victoria has her back. Girl power moments are so appreciated instead of the damsels in distress. Yeah, and I think Y&R's heard that too. I mean, again, Sharon rescued herself in the sewer. So I kind of think Y&R understands that trope is a little bit played out, and I think they're trying to empower the ladies. I mean, also, the ladies did band together to try to poison Jordan, so girl power. Well, Naomi says, watching yesterday's episode, and there are two things right off the bat. Number one, it's odd that Harrison understands that Claire is a factor in the family, but no mention of Chance. And number two, Damian's first scene was intense. Amy almost flinched when he backed away from her approach. What happened between mother and son? I agree with you totally there, Naomi, but let's back up because you know what it is? Chance isn't a factor. That's the thing. Summer, unfortunately, kind of let that go. I don't know if Chance is he still really on the show, or has he moved to recurring basis like Abby? I don't know, but it definitely feels like he is not a factor, that Summer knows what she wants, and I think she's gonna go full force into getting it. I don't think there's gonna be any stopping her. Sherrod says Summer was speaking the truth. I don't think Victor tried to come between Kyle and Summer because they grew up together as kids. Kyle caught feelings for Summer when they got older, but she was always with other guys. Then Kyle stopped chasing Summer and got with Lola, and then Summer realized she loved Kyle, and the saga began. I just love that you mentioned Lola, Sherrod, because I was just thinking, I hope that Summer doesn't need a kidney, or Summer doesn't need to give a kidney, or, I mean, Summer and Kyle's marriage also, she blackmailed him, right? Wasn't it that Kyle was, I mean, Summer is just like her grandfather in the way that she's not going to give up. She is going to come up, but she will stop at nothing to get what she wants. Victor had Victoria arrested on her wedding day. Well, guess what? Summer told Kyle that she would only give Lola her kidney or whatever it was, liver, if Kyle married her. So, I mean, the deviousness runs in the family. Oh, yeah, speaking of the Abbott Mansion, last week I asked you guys if you think that the Abbott Mansion should be refreshed. 53% of you say yes, the mansion needs a redo. 47% of you definitely, like me, stuck in your ways. 53% of you are forward thinking. I'm with the 47 going, no, I don't want the change. When did that happen? Sharon W. says, Dear Allie, I love you, but I want Diane to get rid of Jack's tired old furniture. How about a beautiful tufted leather sofa and some gorgeous tulle fabric patterned wing chairs? Very elegant. And on a similar theme, can someone get Victor a better wing chair? It looks really uncomfortable and prevents him from putting his arms to his sides. The chair might be a big hit in the chiropractor's office. Yeah, the one to tie on the back. Yeah, I love those red chairs in the Abbott Mansion, though. I think those are pretty. But I really do like your idea that a nice leather couch, I think, would be nice in there. I would like to see that for sure. Russell says, yes, the mansion needs to be refreshed because it looks like the 1970s in there. You correct. I cannot argue you, Russell. Yes, you are correct. Marianne V also voted yes, saying the Abbott Mansion is classic, but it needs updating. It's stuffy. Let's see what Diane will change. Yeah. I mean, we just know the thing is Sharon tried to redo it and it was not a success. Gloria redid it, but it was more comedy. Yeah, I'm nervous, but it's happening. And we'll just see how they do. Connie says, I can't make up my mind on this one. I think every home can use an occasional upgrade or refresh, but I don't want to lose that feeling of home that's familiar and comfortable in this classic house. Yeah, I think that's what my concern is too. I don't want to, and that's what Jack's concern is. I don't want to lose the essence of history. I'm sure Y&R. I mean, nobody loves those sets probably more than the Y&R set decorators and the people that actually go in there and put up those sets every day. And so I'm sure their opinion will come into play and factor in. And if they love it, we'll probably love it. But Sue W says, yes, on the refresh, big time. Dreary is the vibe. Okay, well, let's reframe it in a positive vibe. Old money. Ancient, musty money. I keep expecting to puff of dust whenever somebody sits down. But never mind, it's a family that makes a house home when they're not fighting, that is. A puff of dust. That would be a funny moment. Oh, hey, speaking of Sharon redecorating the house, let's talk about Sharon's weird behavior. Dolores says, what's going on with Sharon? She's acting and sounding so ditzy. It's as if her medication's not working. Her visit with Adam and Chelsea was so strange. Her speech appears a bit slurred, as if she's spaced out or disconnected somehow. Yes, Dolores, yes. That is so, I noticed that too. There's something in her speech. I mean, it must be Sharon Case understanding that Sharon has been on a drug trip the last couple of months and that maybe she's trying to convey that and it's just coming off weird. Robin says Sharon's visit to Adam's house was cringy. Her sing-songy voice and strange looks make me think she might be cuckoo from her PCP days. I mean, you know, yeah, I mean, the truth is maybe it's being played for what it really should be because, yeah, you wouldn't be on PCP for that long and have no repercussions and no slurred speech and not be a little, I mean, she's been on a major psychotropic drug. Is that the right word? Psychotropic? No, probably not. She's been on a major trip. Sharon's been on a trip. Of course she's a little zapped. Russell says, Sharon says, I hope you don't think I'm still out of my mind on drugs and trying to frame people for crimes they didn't commit. Not a sentence you hear every day, unless you're in Genoa City. Indeed. Oh, Victoria says, I thought Sharon looked like Barbara Eden from I Dream of Jeannie with her high ponytail. I have expected her to cross her arms, blink, and make Nick fall madly in love with her again. I Dream of Jeannie, yes. I love classic sitcoms, so I love that. Okay, well, how about we talk about some Sharon and Nick? Tony says, I like Sharon and Nick together. They share a lot of history, but I don't want to see them in a romantic relationship. It doesn't do anything for the storyline. They're better as confidants, friends, and a shoulder for each other. Yeah, I mean, maybe I like the romance. It's not there. I mean, we are not there. I think, you know, Y&R doesn't have a lot of real strong romances going on right now, and I think that Valentine's Day episode felt like a bridge, like a little bit of a preview of where they're going. So, but I think they are. I feel like Sharon and Nick probably are going to hook back up, though. We're just not there yet, I guess. Well, Keisha has some comments on Phyllis's history the past couple of years. 2023, Phyllis was thinking, Diane. 2024 was Sharon. 2025, Sally. Oh, Phyllis, will she ever learn? No, probably not. That is what makes her Phyllis. Oh, Naomi says, that dress Phyllis is wearing looks like a Bob Mackie design for Carol Burnett or Cher during their variety show days. only Phyllis is wearing it for a little get-together at the local eating establishment. Not sure a floor-length dress was needed for day wear. Oh, you're talking about the restaurant dress. Oh, yes. The rose dress just blows me away. Oh, you mentioned the Bob Mackie. I don't know if he did. I was just looking at one of Cher's outfits from one of her stage perform. I think it was the one that was like, no, where it was like a thong in the back. One of them, I was just looking at it, and it just incredible. Yes. Well, you know what? I think now's a good time for me to give a big old birthday shout out to good old Marky. Where the heck are you, my friend? You're going to be celebrating a birthday on February 22nd, so I hope you hear this. I haven't heard you from you for a while, so I do hope you hear this. If you're still listening and still with us, stop on by and tell us what you're doing for your birthday. But I hope it's filled with some fun and some cake and maybe a few plot twists. I know that's the way you like it. Okay, well, let's end on some Valentine's Day comments here. Connie says, early in the week I was missing the Valentine's Day decorations. However, it was worth the wait. Friday was fun, and I knew it was a dream. I just couldn't figure out who it was that was dreaming. Surprise, it was more than one dream and a fun ride, complete with all the romance. Yeah. Oh, okay, so you thought it was going to be one dream, one person dreaming of them all. I sort of could sense that it was different people dreaming, but I just didn't know who it was going to be. Sharon W. says, what a fantastic Y&R Friday bonanza. Enjoyable trip down memory lane for the star-crossed lovers who had all pledged their undying love to each other, but now they find themselves alone, and I unapologetically reveal my weakness. I actually thought it wasn't a dream. Right when Phyllis showed up at the door, Sharon W., I was like, oh, yes, reality. But it was the Sharon dream that really, well, Sharon and Chelsea both having that fast of a turnaround. It could happen in soaps for sure. I don't know. The way it was all so perfect, I kind of knew. But, I mean, you never really do know until the end in soaps. Steven says, the multiple dream sequences had me wondering whether Crimson Lights had a special Valentine's Day coffee infused with Sharon's distinctive blend of PCP. If I lived in Genoa City, I would be bringing my own brew. Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. After Sharon's months-long trip on PCP, I think I'll get my coffee and muffins elsewhere. Okay, my friends, I hope that you had a wonderful Valentine's Day. Seems like the chatters really love the Valentine's Day episodes. Go to yrchat.com and tell me which one you liked best. If you want to pick up a bonus episode, including the ranch fire, where I really did include some stuff about the Adam and Chelsea and Sharon triangle there, you can go to genoacitysoap.com to check those out. Or, just come back to wherever you are right at this moment. Come right back to that exact spot next Sunday. And we will do all of this all over again. Okay, guys. I love you, and I hope you have a really good week. Bye.